Hey there! Happy afternoon, happy Monday afternoon to you. Welcome to the Madman Cafe, Brunch with the Madman. I'm Zane. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing, liking, hitting that notification, and sharing this video. Oh, wow. Let me tell you something. So much is going on. We also have an announcement toward the end of this, so do stay tuned to the end. Very important on that. Also, a lot is going on. I mean, this is unbelievable. I mean, you know, ever since the beginning of this year, with all the situations going on, if you would tell me that this would go on by the end of the year, you know, a lot of people would tell you, you know, you're crazy. How can this be possible? How can we have this? You know, we're a country that, you know, we progress forward. We try to progress the best way as far as business, as far as broadcast and movies and stuff like that. But you know, I've said in my past, you know, Hollywood is just literally in ashes. And you're starting to see the issues just start to spread out everywhere. I mean, we already had the announcement that basically the WB is going to be dumping their pretty much almost the entire 2021 roster onto HBO Max. I mean, that's just sent echoes, and this is the reason why we weren't on Saturday, because basically there was we had a show ready. We had, you know, we were ready to put up and then we got news that just basically changed the parameter of what we put out, what we were going to put out, and what we recorded, and that just, you know, for us to put something out of that nature would have been wrong, because everything changed just in 24 hours. And when you had a company that just said, hey, listen, we're going to dump all these movies, and then suddenly pretty much every company, every film company from Disney all the way down to MGM said, you know, called emergency meetings over the weekend. And we still haven't heard, you know, mostly what's going on. There's still we haven't heard much out of it, but we are learning some other major things from certain places. There's also an investor meeting coming up in about when this is recorded, in about 3 days, over at excuse me, not when it's recorded, when it was edited, in 3 days, over at Disney. And there's supposed to be an announcement, and there's even more how can I put this? It's just insanity that is happening. It's just total insanity, and there are even more rumors that just you know, it's starting to become to a point where the rumor mill is well over the top at this point, and it's to the point where, you know, some of the stuff we got to believe, because basically, you know, they don't know what they're doing right now. But before we go any further, what's on the cafe board today? That's right. What is on the cafe board today? Let's bring that cafe board up. Oh, and it's the breakfast blend of Joffrey's. Joffrey's coffee. Joffrey didn't pay me for this. They didn't send me any coffee, but I do love the coffee. I, you know, implore you to go out, try this coffee. It is very, very good. And the breakfast blend, let me let's see. Oh, that is just some good coffee. Gets me going. That breakfast blend is a very good blend from them. I'm hoping to have the holiday blend, but hasn't come in yet. So getting back to this. We know that Disney has been laying off left and right. They're going through another tout of layoffs. You know, there over 30,000 people have been laid off. The situation in California is even getting more dire. The Governor Newsom is shutting more down. So basically, Disney is starting to shut down more of their operations over there. Now Disneyland is shut down. They want to shut down the shopping and restaurant sections of their certain sections of it, or reduce the staffing and reduce the amount of emissions into some of these areas. But now, and I said this before, you had a big bloodbath over at AT&T Warner. The Disney bloodbath is extending further. And what's happening is you're starting to see it hit into broadcast. From what I understand, ABC is now seeing cutbacks on their executives. We're seeing the end, and I'm telling you, the end of Disney Radio, both their basic and their country stations. These stations have been on for a long time. I mean, it is a shame that we lose those stations. So there's some music, the kids love the music on there, but unfortunately, it's costing Disney so much money to keep these things alive. Now, we're going to bring this up this one's in Hollywood Reporter. More than 100 executives are said to have been impacted by Thursday's layoffs. Yeah, this happened on Thursday. And basically, the scope of this is that it's not only the union employees, the non-union, it is moving up the chain of command. When it starts to move up the chain of command into the executive range, we're talking just literally selling off property. What could Disney be doing? I mean, they're headed the way of AT&T. Now, do I say that Disney's going out of business? No. It's like AT&T. Can't go out of business that way. They still have a lot of property. They're still making money. But the problem is they're losing a lot of money in another way. And it's mostly through their theme parks, shutdowns on their restaurants, through merchandising, through... The other question is ESPN, or what are they going to do with ESPN? There's no sport. There's really truly no sports right now. It's very limited to the kind of sports that they have right now. I mean, football is back, but they took a bath during the year, and I saw they were showing a lot of old basketball games, old football games, old baseball games, and I think the overnight they were showing baseball from Korea. That's the most baseball we had. On there, and people were watching it. That was the funny part. I heard people watching 3 o'clock in the morning. People watching Korean baseball. So it's a bloodbath. This is how 2 longtime Disney staffers have described the wave of layoffs happening at the company. Staff reductions are taking place in Disney's general entertainment content unit, overseen by Peter Rice and Dana Walden's Walt Disney Television division, including ABC Studios at 20th Television. Sources say more than 100 staffers have been impacted by Thursday's layoffs. I'm sure Disney's seen worse. No, I think we are at its worst right now. But it feels pretty significant, said one longtime executive familiar with the cutbacks. Disney declined to comment. Longtime ABC executive Vicki Drummer, who has spent nearly a quarter century at Disney and most recently served as head of the current for the broadcast network, is among senior executives who have been impacted by ABC's layoffs. ABC executive VP scheduling Andy Kubitz, an 8-year network veteran, is also among who lost their jobs Thursday. Kubitz's most recent patch together ABC's schedule after the scores of holes were created when the pandemic forced productions to shut down. Yeah, that's another thing. Network television, and this is why YouTube and streaming sites have been really doing very well right now, because basically it's easier to do a show like this, what you're watching right now, than to create a whole show like, say, The Connors, or basically Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., many other shows that are on there. And, even the game shows cost them. They were going to the way of the game shows. Right now, the cheapest thing that you could do right now, and it's is to do animation. This is why and I'm saying this right now, 2021 is going to be a big year for animation, especially Japanese anime. I mean, we're going to be discussing that down the line. There's a couple of shows that are coming up for the holiday season to give you just a sneak peek of what is going on for next year. Because just January off the bat, we're getting a massive invasion from Japan as far as new content. How is that going to affect the entire landscape of the business? It's hard to say, but hey, look, Netflix is putting money into this, and so is several other streaming sites. On the studio side, David Kubitz, who joined 20th TV in January, filled the void creating by longtime studio co-chief Howard Kurtzman retirement, was also let go. At Disney-owned National Geographic, Jeff Daniels is out. Daniels, the most recent, was promoted 2 years ago at the global executive of unscripted entertainment. His duties will absorb by Nat Geo CEO Courtney Monroe. Daniels have also been with Nat Geo for nearly 2 decades and was promoted in 2018 ahead of the deal that brought the company into the Disney fold. Yeah, that's another thing. National Geographic deals with also shows as well. And also a lot of the nature shows. What's going to happen with that? You know, you're going to cut back on the nature shows as well. So, you know, you have companies like ESPN, Nat Geo. What are they going to do for content? Another source noted that Hulu executives are also among those worried about their jobs after Disney earlier this week gave Hulu heads the original Craig Erwich oversight of the ABC as well. Disney continues to restructure and consolidate its workforce to better position the company for streaming future while eliminate staff redundancies for cost-saving purposes. Yeah, see, they're putting everything right now. They're on a head-on collision right now when it comes to the streaming wars. And like I said, HBO Max just got a dump of top movies. I mean, we're going to see the Suicide Squad, Matrix 4, Kong versus Godzilla, and so on and so on and so on. And right now, Disney has a slew of TV shows and movies that are on hold right now. I mean, we're getting WandaVision early in the year. There are rumors that Black Widow might be coming via a la Mulan to Disney Plus. I mean, is that? I mean, they're supposed. Like I said, there's an investors meeting on the 10th. I think we'll know better at that point. The other thing that's coming up is that there are rumors that Disney Plus might merge Hulu into their fold. That goes according. Now, that was the other rumor that we mentioned on another episode, that Disney was creating their section of the streaming site for 18 and plus. In other words, adult oriented movies like R-rated films like Deadpool and others into the site itself. Could that be the part that is Hulu? Because Hulu tends to have it has a ton of content. Not only the Hulu premieres and stuff like that, there's a lot of anime that they have in the system. I mean, Disney could look toward this. I mean, there's more. If this is true to the situation, the DuckTales cancellation is starting to see a little bit more light in the reason why TV series like DuckTales and you know, someone had said, no, they didn't cancel it in the comments. Yeah, they did, because right now animation is the easiest thing to do. Why would they cancel it unless they had something else to replace it that cost them less, you know, as far as the budget goes? And that is if the animation that's all on Hulu is pulled over into there, including the movie content and everything else that's on there, which would be brilliant if they do that. That'll increase their level. I mean, they're already doing very well subscription-wise, but also that opens up the content to further, because Hulu has deals with Stars and other streaming sites to broadcast that material through their system. Now, does HBO stay on this? That's a good question. That's a good question, but we'll have to wait to find out. I mean, because right now you can get live TV on it on Hulu, so that shifts over into Disney Plus. So it gives you more bang for the buck. The changes created one top literary agent dubbed a content of Czar's Supreme Court of Buyers at Disney. As part of the movies, Rice centralized the departments, including the marketing, publicity, scheduling, and media planning, into 3 district groups overseen by Shannon Ryan, Hulu and Linear Networks, former Twitter head of global creativity, Jantenda Jenkins, and Stephanie Givens on FX on Hulu. That means that the networks like Freeform and ABC will no longer have dedicated teams overseeing areas including scheduling. That is a big thing because Freeform has done well on cable, and then of course ABC. So now you've pretty much wrangled in, and this is the same thing that is going on over at Warner Brothers, over AT&T Warner. They're wrangling in all their other divisions and trying to isolate them down to as the least amount of divisions possible. We saw that like Cartoon Network, Adult Swim has been wrangled in and pulled into a animation department for Warner Brothers, whereas in previous past, Cartoon Network and Adult Swim were autonomous as far as their programming and stuff like that. In other words, they would give free reign for their programming. Even though they had to hear from the top end, but they were able to create their own stuff, no problems whatsoever. But now, because you've seen cancellation of the Venture Brothers, you've seen shows that are being pulled from the system that they deem to be, sketchy, as far as that, like Aqua Teen Hunger Force and all that. You're seeing inexpensive shows like Eric Andre get a increase in their seasons. And you're seeing a lot of cheap animation on there. And you saw at Adult Swim all their live streaming, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. All the live streaming has been canceled. All the shows that they created for the live stream, like Toonami Pre-Flight and stuff like that, is gone. And now you see, on the other hand, Disney is starting to do the same thing. They've cut their ties with the radio broadcast group. They're shutting that operations down. They're wrangling in all the divisions, ABC, Freeform, all the other divisions. Hulu will be wrangled into Disney Plus, if that is true. And there's so much more that's being brought in from the broadcast end to streaming. This is the thing, is that the streaming wars, they're going to be casualties, and it's going to be major. And I'm talking to you, Peacock. You're probably going to be the next one. I don't think you're going to end up surviving this. And CBS is the other. Because basically, when you have companies like Disney and AT&T Warner, the bloodbath is there. Who's going to make it out of this? Let me give you my hint at the end of this. But you're going to be surprised on what I tell you. This week, Walden reorganized their group and folded Touchtone Television, formerly Fox 21, into 20th Century Television. Saw that coming from a mile away. ABC Entertainment President Carrie Burke was tapped to oversee 20th TV, bumping Carolyn Cassidy to the number 2 at the former Fox studios and sending longtime Fox 21 President Bert Salke back to producing. So you see the shuffle that's going on here. With Erwick expanding the purview to include Hulu and ABC, and now Burke at the studio, it is unclear how the development process at Disney is going to work going forward. The restructuring and empowerment studios chiefs to develop content across Disney portfolio still to be determined. If Disney will merge creative development teams, i.e. heads of current drama, comedy, so on, into one larger group that oversees all content, this could effectively end the age of old processing of getting notes from both the studio and network aside. Yeah, just literally everybody was separate, and it kind of worked very well. Now you're going to merge everything together. You're going to overload the process of programming. I think we're going to end up going back to the old days. I mean, before internet and stuff like that, everything all worked together, programming across the board. You had your movie, and then you had your television divisions. They worked separately, but then when you started to expand, you started to get 5, 6 different divisions that handled everything from cable TV, broadcast, internet, small divisions like, different networks and stuff like that. And they just basically worked on their own, and they gave notes to each other. And basically it says, okay, we're going to do this. What are you going to do? Now everything is going to be under one umbrella. So how's that going to work in the long run? You're going to have basically fewer ideas thrown on the table and fewer programming. And like I said, right now, animation and anime is king. And I would not doubt that you're going to see a lot more inexpensive shows like Eric Andre and a lot of cheaper animation. And like I said, DuckTales is gone for a reason. They're still going on with Darkwing Duck, but I think they're going to end up cheapening a lot on there, and especially I think it's going to end up to be the voice actors are going to suffer on that one. Such a move would position Disney to similar changes that have taken place this year at NBC Universal, which centralized their business functions under Francis Berwick and entertainment content under Susan Rovner. The duo together see portfolios like NBC, USA, Sci-Fi, Bravo, Oxygen, and E. And you can see what's going on over there. Sci-Fi just folded a couple of sections on there, including the Fangirl site. And they're canceling stuff left and right on all these networks. Among others, NBC Universal continues to have its studio counterparts and leadership of Universal Television and Universal Content Producers. Thursday's layoffs are the latest to come at Disney, which, like other entertainment titans, is under tremendous financial pressure as a result of the novel coronavirus. Now, here's the thing that I would have to say it's part of the coronavirus. Coronavirus, basically, the situation on that just added to the situation, and in some cases put the final nail in the coffin on certain things. This has been a long time happening. They just made the excuse. They said, oh, we're going to blame it all on coronavirus. No. We've said this before. Many of us in the YouTube community has been saying this is a long time coming of this restructuring and stuff that's going on in all these companies. Hollywood is burning, taking these political stance, the programming that they've been putting out, the movies that have been coming out. I mean, we're pretty much seeing the end of the blockbuster for now. If they're starting to pump in to try to make other blockbusters, it's not going to work out. I mean, why? And I said this before. Why are you going to have several sequels to Avatar? I think they're going up to Avatar 5. I mean, right now they have 2 and 3 already pretty much in the can right now. And you're going to do 2 more after this. No offense. Avatar, okay film. Not the greatest film in the world. Beautifully done as far as the special effects and stuff like that. The story itself, not the greatest story in the world. Not the greatest series on there to do as a multiple storyline. Still waiting for the Stargate sequels for many years. That's the kind of storyline you want to use. Not from the TV series, but from the original Kurt Russell movie. There was supposed to be 2 other films after that, never went. There was so much confusion on that. And it just never came to be. And, they sit down and they're trying to figure what the hell we're doing. Why isn't this working? Why, we're making some money, but still people are angry at us. It's because you've taken a stance on certain things, politically, business-wise. You're buying stuff up that, basically you think it's advantageous, but it's going to hurt you further. Ask AT&T Warner. Of all the companies that they bought, like Dish and stuff like, and Crunchyroll and all those other companies, it's hurting them. Now they got to get rid of it all. With Disneyland in Southern California remaining shuttered and most movie theaters pinched by the pandemic, Disney this month announced an additional furloughs for theme park employees and executives. The unknown tally would join the 28,000 park employees, it's higher now, who will lay off in September. Disney reported, actually it's higher than that, $3.1 billion third quarter loss following a $4.7 billion hit during quarter 2. It's higher in the numbers now. It's more closer to 5 and 6. Disney brands includes ESPN, who also been impacted by the layoffs as the pandemic touches every corner of the entertainment sector, unbends Hollywood's old way of life. Yeah, you're right. It's the old way of life that has been perverse. Disney big? Yes, it is a big. Did it need to buy some of the product that they do? Depends. They could deal with, selling off a company like ESPN. ABC, they can. The way the streaming wars are now, they could sell off ABC at this point. They don't need ABC. As far as their other counterparts, you can keep a cable channel here and there. The radio stations, they should keep. I mean, really, you want to get out of the radio. If not, go the way, like Joe Rogan way, iHeartRadio, maybe you want to do it that way, or create a new type of service. But to get rid of your radio programming over ESPN, which ESPN has been at a major loss, is just totally, totally insane. You're losing tons of money every day just from ESPN alone. Now, as far as ABC, are they losing money there? It's half and half. You still got programming there, but just you're struggling to create programming. I mean, when you have series like The Conners that keeps coming back, which basically it has the rating. Let's put it this way. Let me make the comparison. WB over at Warner, CW's Black Lightning. Everybody criticized the cancellation of it. They said, no, it's not cancellation. They're ending the series. It's a cancellation. This is a show that had over 2.5 million viewers at season 1 and ended up with 500,000 viewers by season 3. This is where the cancellation came in, because basically, one of the actresses already saw the writing on the wall. She was already on her way out. She already said if this didn't happen, she would have been out before that. When you look at The Conners and some of the other shows on there, it's the same situation. You had them start out good, and they're like, okay, they're a little balanced there. Do we keep them or not? Some of these shows, you got to purge them. You have to purge them. You got to look for a new direction on there. Stop with the reality shows, number one. Stop with the reboots. That's another one. Whether it's a movie, whether it's a TV series, stop with these god-darn reboots. And I'm going to repeat this. Stop with the reboots. For the reason is, people don't want to see these shows again. They don't want to see, rehashes of the Golden Girls. What if they were a different minority? Or this other show, what if we went in this direction? Oh, what if we bring back the whole cast of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? They're okay fine and dandy in a special, but if you're going to bring them back as a series, is just, you're losing your people toward YouTube. This is why YouTube does very well. Kubi, who tried to be like YouTube from a Hollywood point of sense, died in 6 months because they could not compete with YouTube. Every day, everybody's views are going up. This channel, this past weekend, two of my episodes have literally just blown up in 24 to 48 hours. I'm still trying to monitor what's going on. They slowed down a little bit, but to have the amount of views that they grabbed over the weekend, that's showing that more people are looking at small independent creators, and you're seeing more and more programming come out of all of these creators. And you're seeing that the live streams are getting even bigger. You're seeing more channels being opened up. I mean, Nerdrotic has a separate channel now, Nerdrotic Daily. Perfect example. Tim Pool, I believe, is opening another channel. I think that's what he said the other day, that they're working on something else. Several other people. This channel you're watching right now, we are going through a rebranding next year. There are many things that we're changing over because you, the viewer, what's that old saying? You asked for it. Literally, we've monitor what you like, you, the viewer. We know what you like, and that's what we're going to be bringing you. Shows that what you like the most on topics that you are enjoying, that you are coming. We see the titles that you don't want to be discussed, and then we see the titles that you want to discuss. And this is what it will expand us further. And this is the same thing that companies like Disney, WB, other divisions and stuff like that, they have to look at that. What does the consumer want? This is how you're going to survive a situation of this nature. You've gotten to the executive point. When you, like I said, when you get to the executive point of the company and start laying off executives left and right, you're seeing, other people are going to jump ship. We've seen this at DC. We've seen this at Marvel. We've seen this at Warner. Now we're seeing it at Disney. And with the shutdown, the continued shutdown in California, which I believe that's going to end up Disney into a lawsuit. I think they're also gathering their forces to end up to be a massive lawsuit against California right now. And you also have Disney in Asia, I think the Hong Kong, I believe it is, it's shut down again. You're going to see lawsuits slap down because basically you're taking away jobs from people, number one. What are you going to do? What's California going to do? California is almost broke. They can't afford to pay all these people that's going to go on unemployment. And it doesn't matter who's in the White House in January, that money's not going to come in. That, as much as you think that's going to help, whatever money's going to get thrown at everyone, that's not going to help. We need to keep the influx going, or a lot of these companies are going to be gone in the next year. And I'm already telling you, there's going to be some changes in the streaming. And it's going to be interesting. So in the next half, we are going to discuss what I think on as far as the streaming, how it's going to change a bit. Also, like I said, we got rebranding coming, and we're going to discuss a little thing about this particular show itself moving forward on there. I mean, we're coming into the holidays. We're coming into a sort of this, what we call a little slant, and what they call it, viewership reduction, which I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, a lot of people saying, hey, there's going to be a reduction on YouTube, but I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, we have some other issues that are going on that's going to be problematic for us here as far as YouTube creators, but that's another story in itself. So we're going to take a break a moment. I'm going to get a refill in my coffee cup, and I invite you to stay for a moment and catch this promo code that's going to be coming up. The holidays are coming up. Our merch store is still available. A lot of great stuff. So we'll be right back right after this. With the holidays well underway, you might be looking for that special gift. Check out our merch store at teespring.com, where we have the new winter gear out. From the Madman Cafe to Madman with the Show. Shirts, hoodies, mugs, and even pillows. Starting on December 2nd, use the promo code XMASCafe to get an additional 15% off till December 24th. All proceeds go to help this channel. That's teespring.com/shop Q to cast. Well, yeah, that's right. That promo code is Xmas Cafe. That's Christmas with an X Cafe. You get that additional 15% off. Remember, right now we're coming toward the end of shipping guarantees for Christmas for both our EU customers and our US customers. So please do check on that. I think you have till the 10th here, and it's the 16th for express shipping, and I believe it's the 20th. I think it's, in fact, today would be the last day for standard shipping in the European Union, but you can still get express rush shipping till about, I believe, the 20th. So do check that out. Thank you very much. Thank you. And remember, that still goes to help this channel. By you buying one of our shirts or merch or anything like that, that goes toward assistance to this channel. Let me just take this sip. Oh, breakfast wine coffee. Oh, that is so good. So, we've been discussing the Disney bloodbath that's going on. Like I said, there's an investors meeting coming up. There's also meetings going on. At the time of this recording, there's a lot of meetings going on over the weekend. We may hear something probably in the next couple of days as far as that, what changes and stuff like that. But here's the other part of this. The streaming wars. We have all these companies that are out now. Right now, I consider, with all the situations that are going on, Netflix is right now king. Even with the Cuties debacle and all that, they still are gauging. They're still the top line company because they've been around the most. They're followed by Disney, and then everybody else follows below that. And the only reason why I didn't say HBO Max or anything like that, because HBO Max is right now struggling heavily. And the same thing with Peacock. No matter what anyone tells you, Peacock and CBS, they're not getting the viewership that they expected. And this is mostly the reasons of the programming that they're putting up. Now, HBO Max, it's got good programming. They got good content and stuff like that. Their major issue is how they sped up their release date. They just literally sped it up very quickly. They didn't allow people to ingest. And they still have a ton, and I'm talking a ton of HBO subscribers that has not even flicked on to HBO Max. As soon as I found out that, because I had cut my HBO off of my cable system, and I decided to go a cheaper way to go online as far as I use the HBO, I think it was HBO Go or Now, whichever where it is. I can never tell on that. As soon as they announced that and they said they were going to do it, the day that they said it was going to happen, I flicked it on immediately. I didn't waste any time because I wanted to see what they had, because I saw what was coming to on there. A lot of the programming. I mean, you have some Criterion Collection in there. You got Turner Classics. You got Crunchyroll Anime. You got Adult Swim, Cartoon Network, and of course the lineup of HBO. You got a ton of HBO stuff on there, movies, specials, series. You got some great stuff in there. I mean, all in all, without all the political issues on that, I mean, the site it's a good site. It's a good site. It's got tons of programming. Why haven't they freaking been successful? It's because basically they confused everybody, and they haven't advertised it properly. And you have maybe, I think it was last count was 40 million, something like 20 or 40 million subscribers haven't flipped the switch over from HBO Go, HBO Now into HBO Max. And the thing about it is it was a limited time event, and I believe after Christmas it's over. And I think what it is that probably there's going to be a price increase for those who come in later. That's a possibility. I mean, people had the chance to catch it. A lot of the people had to catch it to have HBO Max for free, and they still didn't take advantage of that. Now, what caused that? HBO, Warner, AT&T Warner. So all of the above. Can't blame Corona on it. People are looking for stuff to watch. I myself have been watching a ton of anime. Some anime that I didn't catch the first time around. Some stuff that was controversial also, that basically I said, hey, let me watch it. Let me see what it is. I didn't watch it the first time around, not for the controversy. It just didn't interest me at first. And boy, did I make that mistake. And not in a bad way, in a good way. It's basically, man, I should have watched this earlier. Stuff like the Shield Hero and Goblin Slayer. As much people criticize Goblin Slayer, it's a very good story. That when they talk about the segment that they talk about, it's just in the first episode. The rest of the series is very good. I wouldn't show it to kids. Right now, I'm watching one of the Fate Stay series right now on Netflix, and I tell you honestly, I said, why hadn't I watched this before? So for you to say that it's like, yeah, HBO, I don't know what could it be in there. You never know unless you go through it. And this is their fault. This is not the consumer's fault. This is AT&T Warner not taking advantage of the situation. Because right now you're going to end up, and I'm telling you, Peacock is going to go the way of the dinosaur. CBS is going to go the way of the dinosaur. They won't be able to compete. The smaller guys, Crackle, Tubi, guys like that will stick around. And you know why? Because they're free. They base all their stuff is on advertisement dollars. And advertisers love spending money on places like YouTube and Tubi and sites like this. In the case of CBS, you got programming like Star Trek, Discovery, all the Star Trek series that are just horrible, the Twilight Zone, and all the other series that they're putting out, which is like, wow, really? You're headed the way of QB. Because basically you're hiring all these people, big stars and stuff like that, but you're not hiring writers. And he says, hey, wait, they got Kurtzman and stuff like that. No, they don't. They haven't hired good writers. They're hiring people that just basically are social justice warriors, that basically have political agendas, that basically are total production hacks. Kurtzman is one of them. Kurtzman has been sued before for basically stealing identities for one of his films many years ago. I think it was called The Island. And then you had a situation recently with the first season of Star Trek Discovery. You had a Nasa Bin who had his property stolen, and he lost the lawsuit, that's a shame, because basically you could tell that Star Trek Discovery ripped off a Nasa Bin. And it's not the first time the Star Trek properties has ripped off somebody else's idea. It's not the first. This is why you've lost the viewers. And they don't care. They're like, if you don't like it, that's, and you're hearing this from some of the production. You heard this from one of the Doctor Who writers. We don't need you. Well, guess what? You do need us. We're the ones watching day in and day out. I mean, you see what's happening overseas. People are canceling their TV licensing. And for some of you who don't know, in England, if you want to watch TV, BBC and stuff like that, you have to pay for a license. You're like, whoa, is it what? You mean it's like cable? No. Cable, you're getting services. In order to turn on your TV to watch TV, you have to have a license. I'm not talking about internet. Internet, that's separately, that does not include on that. But if you want to watch the main channels. See, the thing is here, you could still pop an antenna on your TV and pick up signals like you could pick up MeTV and movies, all the major networks, and watch that for free. Over there, to watch programming from over the air waves without cable, you still have to buy a license. And people are cutting their licenses out. They're tired of the programming. They're tired of the politics. They're tired of all these social justice, these Twitter Puritans, them bending the knee. They're reconning. They're just literally destroying Doctor Who. It's literally gone. And you could see it. I mean, they're trying to bring back John Barrowman to do the holiday special, which the holiday special got moved to January because basically, I think it was the Vicar Dibley or one of the other shows. They're having a Christmas special. They don't want it to compete with that. That shows you right there. That shows you right there that a holiday special from an old series would beat out a new episode of a holiday special from Doctor Who. And that's what's happening on this end. You got CBS, you got Peacock. You already saw what happened with Kubi. You already saw what happened with them. 6 months. Millions of dollars spent on on this company. And what happened? Done really quick. Because that's not what people want. They need to stop listening to the 10 people that are on Twitter. That's right. I'm not saying that there are only 10 people on Twitter, but the same people that are criticizing all this programming, asking for diversity and stuff like that, are the same people that go from fandom to fandom to fandom and start to jack this off left and right. And these companies are listening to them. They say, oh yeah, the customer's got to be always right. Look at which ones they are. You're getting rid of 90% of your viewership to appease 10% of your viewership. 10% are not watching your programming. That 10% don't give a shit about your programming. 10% are not buying those comics. 10% are not buying those books. 10% are not subscribed to your streaming site. They just sit there day in, day out, just criticizing people. It's like that guy in Twilight Zone, that episode where the guy sits there and he's on the phone all day. Oh, do you know Mr. Johnson believes this, and that? You know, if you don't fire him, basically, I'm gonna make sure that your business fails. See, that's the fright that some of these companies have, and don't realize that it's a very small detailed percentage of these people. This is why programming has been an issue. Of course, Daily Nature, you're going to blame Corona for everything, and then you're going to blame it in the next 5 years, you're going to blame Corona. Has Corona been an issue in the industry? Yes, it has. How much damage has Corona done? It's done damage, but in the case of some companies, it's put a nail on the coffin as far as their business-wise. Because a lot of these companies have already had these issues long before this started. Netflix has had their issues, they've had their controversies and stuff like that, but they have made deals with major anime companies. They bought their own studio in Arizona. They are producing their own stuff. I think they just came out with, Mank, that movie that just came out about the making of a classic film with Orson Welles. It's about a writer who never got credit for one of Orson Welles' classic films on there. And it's supposedly, I heard it's supposed to be very, very good. I haven't sat down and watched it yet, but I heard it's very, very well done. And this is the kind of movie that they're pumping out. And then, of course, you have the lineup that's coming up very soon with them. Right now, you have stuff like Beastars, and also you have Godzilla Singular Point, and a ton. Oh, dropped my notes there for a second. Sorry about that, folks. They just bought a great anime series from Japan that's coming in. That was a great manga. It was Way of the House Husband one. That's coming out. Of course, Ultraman, Pacific Rim animes. I mean, they're buying stuff left and right. Some stuff you may agree with, some stuff you might disagree with. But it's still good. Some of it's good stuff. I mean, I watched Cells at Work. Cells at Work was fantastic. That's a fantastic series. It's like Dr. Stone. So you're seeing animation. You're starting to educate again too. Anime is starting to do this way. You have Dr. Stone, which does the science end. Cells at Work does the biology. What more can they bring into this? It's the thought, and this is why Japan is very good at what they do. Whether it's the mangas, whether it's the animes, and I mean even hentai. I'm sorry, hentai itself, the stories themselves, even though it's adult oriented, they still have good storylines. And people saying, well, you don't watch adult porn for the stories. Well, believe it or not, some hentai fans watch it for the stories. Take a peek once in a while. Not to the most graphic ones. There's some guys on YouTube who direct you in the right direction as far as that, because there are some, like I said, there's a video game coming out called Subverse, which a lot of people are anticipating is going to be very good, even though it would be considered a hentai game. But it looks more like a RPG role game that's very good. It sort of has the looks of a Final Fantasy type situation, but with sexy waifus. There's a guy out there that's on that, and he's getting criticized for that as well for doing the interview. But still, the game looks good. And the thing is, that game is not even out of Japan, but it's in the style. So, you have good programming coming out. And like I said, next year is going to be a big invasion of anime. And there's old school stuff coming back. I mean, we have Shaman King, Mobile Suit Gundam, Bleach coming back, and a spin-off from them. How can you compete with that? How can you compete with stuff like that when you can't have shows to the nature? And then as far as the live action stuff, okay, Disney has The Mandalorian. They probably have a couple of other stuff in their hands with the Marvel stuff. Possibly might be good. But Disney's also making mistakes by canceling other stuff. One major mistake, why did they cancel DuckTales? And people say, well, it was coming to an end. They said it was coming to an end and we hope it was good. No, and I'm going to say this again, because I know some people have commented on it. DuckTales was canceled. It's an animation. Animation is still easier to make than a live action. Why would you cancel something that's still going to bring you viewers to the show? Why would you cancel it? It's the same thing with The Expanse. The Expanse is canceled. Even though they're going to a season 6. So yeah, okay, they're going to end it. They'll end it at season 6. That's the way the books end. And then there's a 30-year jump, which is book 7. Why did they cancel it? Probably the cost. Amazon is the other company now that we're going to bring into this fold on there. And that's why I haven't said it before. Netflix, Disney, and Amazon. Those are the top. They're going to be the kings right now. And I'm telling you right now, these are the 3 kings. Hey, I just made a Christmas joke, 3 kings. But that is the situation. You're seeing Amazon's properties, and the reason I didn't bring it up in the first is Amazon right now has a lot more to bring to the table, which allows the other 2 to benefit from that. Amazon is buying anime. They're making their own programming as well. They're buying properties, which allows Disney and Netflix to do the same. Because whatever left that Amazon doesn't get, the other 2 will grab. And you said, well, Zane, what about Peacock and CBS? They're not looking into that. They're not looking into the properties that above what they have. They're trying to create it within their structure. They're not going out looking for properties. Whereas the other 3 are. This is their downfall. Now, here's the other situation. HBO. Will they last? Very hard to say right now. Very hard to say. They'll stick in there in the 4th position. They will stick in there. So now you have Netflix, you have Disney, you have Amazon, and then you have HBO Max. Will they last? That's the question next year. See how they do next year. So they are up in question. The other 2 sites I mentioned, CBS and Peacock, they could have a year left to the max. And I think Peacock will be the first to go before CBS. I don't think Peacock. A lot of people don't talk about Peacock, and you say, "Well, they give a lot of free stuff." I said, "Yeah, but that's how they wrangle you in, is giving you free stuff." People are already pissed off on the soccer. The soccer fans are pissed off about they have to pay extra on Peacock just to watch the teams that they want. So what does that tell you? That tells you Peacock is not customer friendly. Not customer friendly at all. I don't watch Peacock, even though I know they have a couple of good shows on there that I like to watch from the old days. But I already have them on DVD. So why should I pay extra for that? So in the comment below, tell me how you feel about this. Let me know how you feel. I mean, this is massive. This is a massive change in the industry. And I told you, I've warned you this. Most productions are going to be coming to the East Coast. I'm telling you. You see a lot of shows in Virginia, Atlanta, and the Carolinas. Arizona is on the other end. You're seeing a mass exodus of people out of California. You're seeing even the celebrities are moving. You have those draconian laws on the other end that's practically burning the state down. And it's burning the entertainment industry. The other half of the reason why the entertainment industry is burning is because you have all these SJWs, all these Twitter Puritans, Reddit Puritans that are sitting there trying to convince these companies to bend their way, and they bend the knee every time. That's why Star Trek has suffered, Doctor Who, and all these other TV series. When you have the marketing part, the people that handle the shirts, the toys, and all that, all the marketing part of it that basically funds these shows, decide to say, hey, sorry, we're out. That should tell you. When they don't see a market line, and to give you a perfect example, the She-Ra TV series on Netflix, the company that manufactures the toys, which ones have they manufactured? Have they manufactured the current She-Ra TV series or the classic? They're focusing on the classic because they want nothing to do with the new series. The new series is not profitable to them. These companies have to understand they're losing profit. They're losing a lot of money, and it's going to get to the point where it's going to destroy them. It's going to destroy them, and it's practically there. It's practically there, and they're going to try to blame it on Corona. The only part of it that is damaging, that Corona is damaging, is the theater business, because they cannot reopen the theaters. Because they say, oh, we only can release the movies on that. Bullshit. You can release it at the drive-ins. Make a deal with the drive-ins. Drive-ins are open. Drive-ins are open. They can be open. And they're much easier than going to the theaters because you're staying in your car. You can put your family in the car. Everybody is separate. Distance. They're doing concerts in drive-ins style. I've seen a couple already. So it is possible. So you tell me in the comments below how you feel about this. Now, here's the other part that's going on. Today is the 7th of December, 2020. This is good for Brunch with the Madman. This will be our last show for the year. Just for Brunch with the Madman. We will still be continuing Madman with the show. We are going to be taking this show a little off because we are working on certain programming, actually we're working on some specials for the Christmas era, which is sort of a preview for 2021. So we want to make sure we put a little bit more emphasis on those shows right now. Temporarily, we wanted to give a little rest for the 2 days a week that we do this, because they're longer shows, longer episodes. We want to retool a little bit. Like I said, next year we want to do a rebranding. So Brunch with the Madman Cafe will be returning back after the new year. Just stay tuned. We'll give you a date on that. This has been a pleasure doing this show. This particular one, this has been, even though the viewer counts are not as high on YouTube, they are higher on our other streaming sites. We do get some really good comments on it. On Twitter and all of our other sites on there, we see the content, whereas people are watching them much longer than our shorter versions. So that's a good thing. So we want to continue this. But we also, part of the new rebranding is we will be tailoring Man Man with the Show with the rebranding. And we're, like I said, we're going to be moving forward with this channel with what you, the viewer, what you want, what you enjoy, what the stories that we do. I mean, anime and animation has done very well on this channel, and that's part of what's coming forward. What you're going to see is going to be just literally a massive change to certain stories, things, events that we are doing. We know what doesn't work, and we're going to be pulling back, slowly pulling back on those. Eventually, we're just going to just tailor them out. We may bring them back as a separate show with a separate person hosting. We may do that, but that's still down the line. And like I said, the rebranding is a total rebranding of the network, because there's so much that you want, and we have to make the decision of what direction are we going to with this program, because basically this is how we survive on YouTube. This is how we survive on all these streaming sites, because basically, you know, if you're not getting the viewership on certain shows, you don't do it. Even though I know we're shadow banned. We're shadow banned on then. You may say, well, you're getting rid of this because, you know, maybe it's not great. No. We've already done where we know what YouTube agrees and disagrees with. And that's not what my viewers, you, want to see. There are plenty of other channels that can handle that. And this is the reason why you've seen we've directed you to Friday Night Tights, Timcast IRL, Looper, many other, Blind Wave, many other sites that are on this network. We have to compete with all these other shows constantly, especially the live streams and stuff like that. Bringing you good programming is our mission. I enjoy this. I love this. It's so great. You know, it's an enjoyment to me that I bring this to you on a daily basis, and we want to bring more of it. But for the time period that we've been on air, we've been seeing we've gone through a lot of stuff. I've gone through my health issues that basically stopped the programming for a bit. But now I'm much better, bigger, faster, stronger. And hopefully we'll be able to develop this. And I'm glad you guys are along for the ride, because you guys are important. You guys are important because we love you guys, because you're the ones that hitting there that subscription. You're hitting that like. You're hitting that. You're sharing. You're sharing these videos. I see where it's coming from. I just checked this week. I'm getting a lot of viewers through DuckDuckGo, more than Google at certain points. Search engines like DuckDuckGo are, allowing people to find me. And then, of course, there's Minds, and then there's Gab, and then there's Parler. People criticize Parler for what it is, but believe it or not, guys like me, guys like everybody else on YouTube, the non-political shows, are starting to move to Parler. Why? Because of the way Twitter acts, the way Facebook acts. Because we will put up programming where we don't like certain things, certain movies and stuff like that. Hey, we're giving a review. If we're giving a review for a movie or a TV series and stuff like that, and the company doesn't like it, the production house, and then they start to, try to get us banned, that's not a good thing. You got to remember something. And I think this is these companies have lost their way because of that. There is no such thing as bad advertisement. Advertisement is advertisement, because if you're hearing the name of the program constantly, Captain Morgan, you're going to get people going to watch it no matter what. They're going to say, "Hey, listen, I want to find out why is it so bad. Let's watch it." This is the way the business used to run. Now it's like, no, we can't have anything. No, don't say anything bad about the movie. Don't say anything bad about the movie. But the thing about it is that you can't stifle people from saying what they want to say. People are still going to say it because they think, shutting someone down is not going to stop the other 100 people from talking. People are going to talk no matter what. I could tell my neighbor next door to me, hey, listen, I didn't like this movie. It's rotten. He'll go look at it and say, yeah, it is rotten. And he'll go tell his friend, he goes, listen, I just saw this rotten movie. And so on and so on and so on. You can't stifle the situation. You got to take it. And you also, as a production, you got to look at why was it bad. I just watched recently a fan edit of Dune. It's now on YouTube. And let me tell you something. It was phenomenal. It was much, much better. And I have the other two versions of the original, the Lynch Dune movie, the two versions. And this person took those two versions and were able to merge it, and including the stuff that was on the cutting room floor, into a new version of Dune, and it works simply brilliantly. And I think the production house should look into that. The people who own the IP on that, they should put that out, put that in the theater, see how that does. Because you got the other Dune movie, you're not going to get a conclusion of it. You're throwing it to streaming, and it'll probably end up to be a TV series. And that's going to damage the IP further. So, Brunch with the Madman will return on Mondays and Saturdays in 2021. Thank you for those who have viewed. Thank you for those who have subscribed on air. We do appreciate this, because this was also a way of me communicating with you through comments line. Since unfortunately I don't have a social media person all the time, it allows me to talk to you, get to know a lot of you, and like I said, that's what helped us to develop what's coming forward. We're still developing it. We're still ways away for the new rebranding. But when it comes, hopefully you'll enjoy it. So as the cafe closes down for the season, thank you very much. Those of you who just watched the Brunch with the Madman Cafe, have yourself a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah. Thank you for viewing, and be sure to catch our other shows. We still have more programming coming. We will still be going with Madman episodes. We will be taking the holiday break, but there will be new episodes still running. We are in the middle of producing those shows right now. So basically, when the holidays come, those shows will be running as we are off. So once again, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for hitting that notification bell. And don't forget to share this video. We'll be back in 2021. Don't forget to watch Madman with the Show every Wednesday and Friday. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you very much. We'll see you on the rebound. Have a good one. Bye-bye now.